I'm going to show you how I find books that have really high sales ranks, like 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, that most people would never touch. And I'll show you how I find these books, how I buy them, and how I flip them for some pretty incredible margins. It really all just comes down to being able to read Keepa graphs, look at past historical data to figure out what these books have been selling for. A lot of people, like I mentioned, will skip these just because maybe they're not super familiar with reading Keepa graphs, looking at past historical data, and who wants to buy a 4 million sales rank book for 15 bucks, right? So if you're interested in that, let's dive right in the video. All right, so I'm over here on Amazon Seller Central. Sales today are actually $0. That's because it's actually midnight right now. Forgot to mention my name is Joji Davenport. I'm a high school teacher. I also sell books on Amazon. Really, the only time I have to source is between 10:30 p.m. at midnight, and that's when I buy books on Amazon and then resell them on Amazon. So you can see my sales kind of over the last week. It's generally around the $500 to $600 mark. Cyber Monday was really good at $1,200, but generally it's been right around like $500 to $600. November's kind of a slower month, so I'll still take that. Some pretty good sales. By the way, all these books that you're going to see, pretty much all the sales, not everything, but almost all the sales are going to be Amazon to Amazon flips, which is pretty cool. I'm going to come over here and click the Manage Orders button, and I'm going to show you a couple of sales that are books, or in this case, this would be an audio CD here that, a lot of people would not pick up. So let's look at the Odyssey, the Fitzgerald translation. This sold for $49.99 6 hours ago. And if you look at the Keepa graph of the CD, this is what it looks like. There's basically been 4 sales rank drops. You can see that at its highest, the sales rank has got up to 3 million. And a lot of people would not buy this because the sales rank is really high. Now, I ended up picking this up when the price of this was right around $6.69. So I actually paid $10.67 for this. You can see that here's the confirmation. I bought it on October 31st, actually on Halloween. And you can see I bought it here for $10.67. So if I go and put it at that sell price here, we made a $21 profit, 200% return on the CD. And the reason why I bought this is because I like to look at past historical sales, right? This is a CD that was out of stock for a long time. Literally half of the year was out of stock. Previously, it looks like there were actually a few sales rank drops, which means this CD improved in popularity. People actually were buying it right around the $30, $40 mark. That was the cheapest price on Amazon. So, I figured, hey, this is right around 10 bucks. It has some historical sales in the 40 range. If I look even further back in the time, I actually see that there potentially been sales up to 60. And that's kind of why I listed mine at $59.99. And, I don't know if I would say I got lucky selling it because I expected this to sell for right around 40 to 50 bucks. It actually sold pretty quickly and it made some pretty good profit. All right, so right under that, we have More Than Moonshine, which also sold for $49.99 6 hours ago. Here's the book right here. This was published in 1983. You can see I bought it on October 2nd. You can see that I bought this for $9.93. And again, if I go and put in that sales price, $49.99, you can see I made a $22 profit and a 228% return. Now, the reason why this sort of strategy is so great is because the buy cost on a lot of these books is very cheap relative to what you can sell them for. So especially for someone who's starting out with limited capital, even though it's probably not the best option to go with books that don't sell very often, you do have a lower buy cost with a lot more potential for higher returns if you're doing it right. But if we scroll down to the Keepa chart again, you'll see that this is a book that has only had 3 sales rank drops really in the last year. But again, one thing that you'll notice is that the used price and also the used offer count is largely missing from this graph throughout the year. And that just lets us know that this really just hasn't ever been in stock. So you can see it was in stock for right around $29. It sold there, came back in stock, looks like it sold again at $26. And then you can see this is where it dropped to $9.93. That's where I picked up a copy. Again, look at the past historical data. Look at the last 3,600 days, right? This is an old book. So we can get some really good information about whether or not this book has been selling by just looking at Keepa. And so, let's go ahead and let's take a look at kind of what happened in 2021, 2022. So it looks like, again, a number of sales rank drops where the cheapest price in Amazon was above 25, even upwards of 50. I think this last one was probably a $52 sale. The sales rank drop here is probably in collectible condition at $15.99. So again, this is a book that I thought was going to sell for in the 30 to 40, maybe up to $50 range. It did sell for 50, sold pretty quickly as well. So, made a $22 profit. Good book. All right, let's scroll down a little bit. We have a Fringe Beyond the Fringe. This sold for $35. Also sold today, technically yesterday at this point, but sold for 35 bucks. And this actually wasn't as great of a profit, but it was still a good flip. So you can see I bought this on September 3rd. Bought it for a total of $14.99. So again, I flipped it for 35. So the ROI on this book was only 41%. So we made a $6 profit there. Now, if we scroll down to the Keepa graph, the reason why I picked this up again was, you can obviously see when I bought this for right around, $11 plus shipping there. It had basically been listed at $400 for a couple months. Obviously, nobody bought it because there was no past historical sales to indicate that it would sell for that. But in the past, number of sales rank drops right around the $30 to $40 mark. If we look at the last, 6, 7, 8 years, this has very consistently been selling for over 20, even up to 30. So I knew that, at a really low offer count, you can see that today's offer count is significantly lower than it's been in the past. This is something that's held some pretty good value in the 30-ish range. So I knew this would be a pretty for sure thing if I were to buy this. So again, I bought it for $14.99. Now I did actually want to list it for a little bit more than $35, but this is a book I was getting a high pricing on. So I went as low as Amazon will let me go, $35. I'm happy to sell it, made a $6 profit. Again, I never touched this book. I went right to a prep center. My prep center sent it to an Amazon FBA warehouse. The Amazon FBA warehouse shipped it out to the customer. So if you guys are kind of interested in my model, it's Amazon to Amazon flips. This is just one of many ways to source books, and it's part of the Amazon to Amazon masterclass. So if you guys want to learn more about, how this works, then feel free to check that out. Link down below in the description if you want to join the class. There's going to be, a private Facebook community group. There's a lot of resources, over 100 videos to help you out there. If it's not your thing, I would just say, keep going through the free content. I think you can be wildly successful with all the free content on this channel. Just know that if you're really serious though about the Amazon to Amazon book flipping model, and you want to fast track your success, learn from all my mistakes, learn all my best sourcing strategies, then it's the best way to go. I think the return on what you would spend on it is well worth it. And I feel good about pushing the Amazon to Amazon masterclass because I honestly feel that the price that I'm charging for it is significantly below the value that's in it. So it's there for people just out of popular demand. Basically, over the last year and a half, people have always asked me, Joji, do you have a course? Do you have something to help me out, something more organized? So kind of took me a long time to make it because I want to make it right. I want to make it really well. So, it's there if you guys want it. If not, though, make sure you indulge in the free content. I think you guys could be wildly successful just with the free content. All right, so the next book that sold also today, Bruce Lee Official Collector's Edition Volume 2. It sold for $49.99. And this is a book that in the last year has actually only had one sales rank drop, and that was from me when I bought the book. You can see that basically this book was listed at $250. It dropped down to $100, and then it dropped down to $798. That's when I picked up a copy here. You can see that I bought it on September 10th. You can see that here's the payment details for $7.98. And again, this sold for $49.99. So we made a $26 profit, 330% return on this book. And again, never touched this book, low purchase price, high ROI. And again, this is a book that had a sales rank of over 4 million. So, you get a lot of advice, don't buy books over 1 million to 2 million. And generally that's because most people who sell books scan at library sales and thrift stores where the, average book you're finding, average sales price might be $12, $15, $18. We're having higher average sales price, so we can definitely look at those books that have higher sales ranks. And also because I've done this for years and years, I kind of understand when the sales rank is high because of factors that would make it a high sales rank. So I didn't explain that really well. I guess what I'm saying is this is a book that was priced well beyond what it should have been priced at. That's why the sales rank was so high. There was just no copies available at a price that somebody who wants the book would want to buy it. So the only logical conclusion is that the sales rank is going to get worse. So in reality, what I'm saying is if you look at the last 1,700 days, when this book was in stock at a reasonable price, right around $20, this book was selling all the time. But for basically 3 years, this book was listed at $200, which is basically about 10 times the MSRP of this book. And even despite that, you can actually see there does appear to be one sales rank drop in used condition at $100. So, after that, this book was basically not priced reasonably at all. So when it was priced reasonably, decided to pick a copy up, and it sold pretty quickly for $50, made a $26 profit, and I'll take it. And the last book I'll show you, this one sold 2 days ago, $11.28. This sold for $99, accounting for gross. So you can see I bought this on September 14th. I bought this for $11.98. Again, let me show you proof that I did buy it. Okay, so there's the book down there. Bought it in very good condition, $11.98. And again, we sold this book for $99.99. We made a $64 profit, a 500% return on our money. Never even touched the book. Went right from whoever owned the book to my prep center, to an Amazon FBA warehouse, to the customer, and we got a profit $63 on this book. Absolutely amazing return. Now again, scroll down the Keepa chart over the last year. This has had maybe 7 or 8 sales rank drops, so not very many. You can see that when I picked this book up, it was right around $7.99, and it dropped from 62 down to $79.99. And the reason why I picked this up is because I wanted to overlap the sales rank drops with the lowest used price at that point in time. And I was like, okay, sales rank dropped when the lowest used price was $100. So I'm gonna reasonably assume the book probably sold for $100. Same thing here, probably sold for $186, probably sold here for $8. So that would have been a great pickup as well. And then a couple sales rank drops here for $120 and $298. So what I'm seeing is a book that potentially can sell for a lot. Also, you can see in 2021, 2022 was largely out of stock, which is why the sales rank got worse. You can see that this book was listed upwards of $46,000. Not saying that that's anywhere reasonable, obviously, because no one is going to buy the book for that much. But the point is, for basically 2 years, this book was non-existent. It was on Amazon for for obviously a price scale, like a insanely high price where no one would want to buy it. But if we look at when the book was listed, we see tons of sales, $69.95, boom, sale. And this is, in the Amazon Masterclass, this is what I call a juicy book. A juicy book is a book that is generally out of stock, but when it comes in stock, goes out of stock because someone buys it. And so you can see that, leading up to every sales rank drop, there's basically a long period where the book is not listed, and then the sales rank drops. So, this book was not listed for a while, came back in stock, sold for $69.95, went back out of stock. Same thing here. As soon as it came back in stock at $31.96, it sold, came back in stock at $119 and sold. So, this is a book that was selling for significantly above what I purchased the book for. And so even though at that time the sales rank of this book was around 2.3 million, before that had a sales rank of even up to 5.5 million, I knew that this would be a good book. I mean, this book came out in 1992. This book came out before I was born, everybody. It was still selling pretty well. So made a great return on this book, and it's an awesome book. All right, so let me go and show you how you can find books just like this. And by the way, what I'm about to show you is just kind of one of the many ways that you can source books. And again, it's all on the Amazon Masterclass. So yeah, again, if you guys find this content valuable, then I think you guys will love what's in the Amazon Masterclass. Okay, so the goal here is we want to find books that are wildly undervalued, that kind of have a really high sales rank. And kind of the reason why we're trying to find higher sales rank books is we're really trying to find books that have low offer counts, books that have either been priced way too high and therefore are not selling, or books that just haven't been in stock, haven't been listed for sale. So there's really no way for the book to improve in sales rank. So let me show you a way that I found 26 products that just with the first few examples, you could pick up some books. So we're gonna start with sales rank. And, contrary to what most people do, we're going to go to a high sales rank. We're going to say, find us a book with a 180-day sales rank average of $1 million to $3.5 million. So we don't want anything below $1 million. We want to be $1 million or more. We're going to say we want any new offers to be out of stock. So we don't want any new offers on the listing. Then we're going to scroll down to the used prices. And what we're going to say is a couple of things here. So we're going to say we want the current used price to be under $12, 0 to 12. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want, especially for you, if you're just starting out with a little bit of capital, we want to make sure we're finding books that are a little bit on the cheaper side. Less capital startup, be easier for you to start turning your money, because you can buy more books with less money. So we're trying to find a book under $12. We're also going to try to find a book where its 90-day used average is at least $45 or more. And then we're going to click this little button which says lowest ever. So we're also going to try to find a book that has never been cheaper before. Like this is the cheapest it's ever been. We're going to scroll down and obviously select the book category. It's the root category because we're specifically looking at books. And with that, we get 26 filters. And look at this, guys. Obviously, I should say that not everything that comes back here is going to be an amazing book, but that's why really understanding the basics of Keepa, which again, Amazon Masterclass has Keepa basics, Keepa fundamentals, Keepa mastery. So to help you, get a good foundational Keepa basis, also get a little bit better at reading Keepa graphs as well. That's the Keepa Intermediate Mastery course that's in there as well. First book that looks really interesting to me, this is the 101 Black Inventors and Their Inventions. I could totally see this being a book that has value that people want. If you look at the last 948 days, what you'll notice is that Amazon was selling this for right around $24. The sales rank of this was pretty good. Not amazing considering that the book is, only MSRP at $24, but definitely people are buying this book. And you notice that Amazon went out of stock, and also all the new offers went out of stock. So this is kind of why the sales rank starts creeping up. But you do see a couple of sales rank drops when the used price is right around 30 to 40. And you can see just recently this book is undergoing a repricing, where basically there's probably a couple sellers with really aggressive reprices, bringing this book all the way down to about $7.20. So this is a book that might not have amazing margin because you're probably honestly going to be able to try to sell between like 30 to $40. But if we open it up on Amazon here, we can see that this is kind of the right idea. So $7.20. By the way, it is from a Prime seller. So you can buy books from Prime sellers, but you're going to need to buy them on a non-Prime account. So you can't use your Prime shipping services if you have a Prime subscription to buy this book. So you need to hop onto a non-Prime account. Try to get your cart value over $35 so you qualify for free shipping anyways. But again, you'll learn all about that in the Amazon Masterclass. But in this case, $7.20. I'm just gonna assume that you bought, you're buying other books as well. So you're getting your cart value over $35 with other Prime books that you're buying. So you're getting free shipping. So we're gonna say the cost price is $7.20. I would say pretty reasonably, I would assume that this would eventually sell for $30, but potentially could sell for $39.99. So I'd probably put my min at $29.99, my max price at $39.99. Yeah, I bet you it probably would sell in that range and you'd make a pretty good profit on that book. Okay, now the book right below it is insane. The Deadly Fuzz, The Secret Weapon of World War II. Oh, absolutely niche book here. Look at this. So this is a book that, again, doesn't sell too often, but over the last years, right around $40 is where we're seeing sales rank drops. Then had a ton of sales rank drops here. For whatever reason, in November, it got really, really popular. And this book was selling quite well. You can see over the last 2,500 days, I mean, this is an absolutely money book. This is a solid book. There's only 2 people tracking this book, and you can see that this book has been selling for, $40, $50, even up to $90 at times. And then just today, somebody came in stock here at $8. So this is a book, again, there's 2 people tracking it. This last price change was 11 hours ago. It's likely that the book is gone, but it could still be there. It looks like it's actually there. Again, this one is also from a prime seller. This one's in acceptable condition, so you'd have to see if you'd want to buy it or not. I mean, they have pretty good feedback, so this is probably going to be a good book. But I mean, this is a money book right here. This is something that, again, I would assume you get the card total. Because it's a prime offer from a prime seller, you get the card total over 35, so you qualify for free shipping. So you'd buy for 8. I think very realistically, you'd sell this for $40. But again, there is past historical data to suggest that this could sell upwards of $90. So I'd probably put the max price at 90, honestly. One of the reasons why, by the way, is the offer count is so low. So if you were able to sell this for 90, I mean, that's an incredible return on a really low purchase price. Now, a lot of you, I know what you guys are going to be saying is like, well, Joji, isn't there just a massive drop in used offer count? Isn't this an IP complaint? Offer count went from, 15 down to 3. It's interesting why that would happen. Although this is a book that came out in 1980, I don't think logically that a book that's over 40 years old would all of a sudden have somebody, the owner of the book, want to issue IP complaints, because this book's not even being sold new anymore, right? I mean, there's occasionally someone who jumps on new. Probably what's really happening is someone's finding a book in really, really good condition and listing it as new when it's not really new. So, I don't see any other large drops in offer count. So this is a book that I personally wouldn't be worried about. Also, we do see tons of sales rank drops here as well. So maybe I'd be a little bit risky. Maybe it's being a little risky on this, but I don't think that was an IP complaint. Although I'm not exactly sure why so many copies were purchased at that one point in time. All I know is that this is an amazing book, and that's just the first couple products that we found out of 26. So again, Keepa Product Finder is a very valuable tool if you want to see a whole bunch of other ways to use Keepa Product Finder, a whole bunch of other creative sourcing strategies, and check out the Amazon Masterclass. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.